Well, hello there, everybody. How is it going? Welcome back. Now, we are talking about 5 unforgettable guitar licks. Now, you might be asking yourself, what's an unforgettable guitar lick? Well, if you want to skip me talking and just go right to the licks, bam, right there. If you want to hang around and let's chit-chat, well, what I'm talking about are licks that are just kind of known throughout time. You learn them once and you kind of never forget them. They're used in all kinds of solos. You hear them all the time. They're just staple guitar licks that, seriously, like once you learn them, you will honestly probably never forget these licks. Actually, not probably, you will never forget these licks. So I'm going to go ahead and jump to it. If you want tabs for this lesson, you can totally grab those down below in the description. Over my website, I also have lesson packs available for different techniques, all that kind of stuff. You can check that out. And we're just going to jump on into it and let's get going.
Oh, yeah!
Alright, so let's get to breaking these licks down. So the first one, what do we have here? Well, nothing but a Stevie Ray Vaughan classic that you will hear all over the place. And it's one of those, it's so easy to put into all kinds of different areas. It has so much attitude and just emphasis on the notes. Real slow, it goes like this. And basically I'm just bending up 7 on the G up a full step. So now I go to 5 on the B and high E. Then I'm going to bend 8 on the B up a full step. So now after that, bending 8 on the high string, or sorry, 8 on the B up a full step, I'm going to go to the high E and play 5, and then the B and play 5. So kind of reverse what we just did. Now I'm going to go to 8 on the high E and bend up, and a full step. Then you go to 5 on the high E and B. So I'm going to bend that 8 on the B up again. And then I do another 5 on the high E to 5 on the B. So, and there we have it. So we have. And it gets where you can repeat it. And what's cool about it is it's basically out of box 1 of our pentatonic, which is a lot of these. And it makes it really easy to move around to different keys. So whether you're jamming in something out of the key of B, you can just throw that lick in all kinds of places. Even sometimes where it's cool when you switch between major and minor, and you use that lick, it really packs a punch. So to me, that's one of my favorite ones of all time. And like I said, once I learned it, I've never forgotten it. Next on the old chopping block is this little ascending pentatonic run. So I've done this before, the Jimmy Page style one. I did it descending. So and basically what I'm doing here is I'm kind of flipping it around, I'm ascending it. Which if you've heard it probably in like Love Gun, it's a very similar pattern. Jimmy Page does it a lot. Kirk Hammett, lots of these pentatonic guys use this lick. So basically all it is a sequence through box 1. I'm going to do it here out of D minor pentatonic. So what I'm doing is I'm starting on the 12th fret of the A string. So I go 12, pull up 10, and I pull off to 10, and I pick 12 again. So, then I go to 10 on the D, 12 on the A, and then 10 on the D. So there's more pick notes than not pick. So it gives it a little bit more of an aggressive sound. I am on my neck pickup, so it's giving it a little bit of a warmer tone. But all I do is I take that pattern and move it down a string each time. So I go to the next one. So I'm going to go to the D, literally the same exact frets, just down a string. So 12, 10, 12, 10 on the G, 12, 10. So shift down again. Exact same thing, yet again. This is why this one's so useful. 12, go off to 10, 12. Then I go to 10. So, then back to 12 on the G, 12 on the B. Then here I'm going to go 13, 12, 13, 10, 13. Then I go to 10. Then back to 13. And then you can bend it like a full step. Like I like to, bending it just to a root. So. Oh, sorry. I like my mind. I was like, do I slide it to the note or do I bend it? So to me, that's another really, really fun one. Again, you can move it around if you want to move up to the key of G minor, A, F. You know, all over the place. It's just so easy to transition that one around. All right, so the next one I'm going to give you is, to me, in my mind, another Jimmy Page inspired one, which is just another box one pentatonic lick. You know, it just kind of, to me, it has that Jimmy Page vibe to it. He did a lot of these style of licks. And basically, I'm just bending up again on 14. You notice a lot of these licks, you know, the old classic rock licks, start with this bend. All over the place. So I'm bending that up to 16, so I bend up a full step on the G on 14. Now I'm going to go to 12 on the high string. I think this is what makes this lick sound so cool, because there's this string skip, you know, right there. Now I go back to the B, and it's just simply going 15, pull off to 12. So, now for me, I'm picking this in a very particular way. Basically, I'm going bending up 14 on the G, up a full step, which is a down, and then I go to 12 on the high string, which I do an up. Then I go to 15, pull off 12, which is another up. So I go down, up, down the whole time. That was sloppy. Let me try to do that even better. Now, we're going to go to one where I first learned this lick from Joe Satriani. It was either Joe Satriani or Reb Beach, actually. I can't remember. I think it was Joe Satriani that I learned this from first, though. And it's just such a cool, another one of those aggressive bluesy rock licks. This one on a B minor. But again, it's on a box one, so you can move it all over the place. I go like this. There's another lick very similar to it where there's more of a hammer-on pull-off kind of vibe going on. I'm picking all these notes. It gives it a much more aggressive bite. So I bend up 10 on the B, full step. Then I go to 9 on the high. Then I go to 9 on the high, and then I go 7 on the high. 10, 7, and then 10, 7. That's all picked. Because that lick by itself is actually one. But it was what Joe did that added this little extra like snap to it. So you go like this. Okay, so we have that. Now, instead of going back to that 10 on the B and bending up, he would go to 10 on the high string, and bend it up, and then go 7, 10, 7. So there's another lick very similar to this that goes like this. Very close to it, but this one was just a little bit more snap to it because there's higher strings involved. As far as picking, I genuinely have no clue what my hand is doing. Looks like I'm doing some mechanic picking. Yep, so I'm going down, up, down, up. So that one is just one I've always loved. I think it has a lot of attitude to it. And again, since it's box one of your minor pentatonic, very easy to transition that one around. So let's head on home with a extremely classic pentatonic lick. I learned it, of course, first from Van Halen, learning the Panama solo, and then I noticed it was the same lick in the You Really Got Me solo. So I was like a 2-for-1 special. I'm doing it on the key of A. It's also used in like, I think it's the Highway to Hell solo, but it's just this. And a very simple, basic lick, but it's one that's just kind of been here forever, and it always just sounds cool, you know? It never doesn't sound cool to me. So I'm bending 7 up on the G, a full step. Then I play 5 on the high E and B together. It's a double stop. You double it. Almost like the old Chuck Berry thing. So you kind of have that going, and again, it's just box 1. I know I keep saying that, but... So you have that lick. You can almost follow the chord. Somebody, if you had a riff going... It works all over the place. I highly recommend you checking that one out. So let's go for one more. This one is something I learned from the Stairway to Heaven solo. You know, Jimmy does this really cool lick. Something similar to that. I'm not saying that's exactly how he plays it, but it's these little arpeggios. At the time, of course, I didn't know they were arpeggios, but it was just this pattern of notes that I always liked the way that it sounded. And before I really knew what I was doing, every once in a while I would line up perfectly with chords, and I'd be like, oh, it fits so perfect. So the first one is just right here, out of E minor. Now this one is actually basically just outlining an E minor, that's what it is. It's just 15 pull off 12 on the high string and then 12 on the B. Now I'm doing a pull off, so there's not really any particular way I'm picking it. I'm just going down, up, kind of alternate picking. Then we shift up here to basically a G major. And I'm going to be going to, was this 19 pull off to 15 on the high string, and then 15 on the B. Okay, so we have that, and I'm just repeating those. Oh, sorry. You know, actually, I'm going up, down, so I'm outside picking. Okay, now I'm going to go up here to this A minor. So this is just going 20, pull off to 17 on the high, and then 17 on the B. And then I bend that up a full step at the end, that D note up to that E, just ending back on a root, because it's all basically E minor. Oh, as I mess up. Then bend it up. And that is that one. Alright guys, that will be it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed that one, jamming out to these licks. And stay tuned, I will have a second part of this video coming out very soon on how to take these famous licks and make them all your own by adding simple little twists to them. So be looking out for that one. If you want to, you can check out these other 2 videos. Oh, right here, waiting for you. Chillin'. And other than that, you can hit the subscribe button. Or, no, actually, that would be great if you did that. That sounds fantastic. It's a great plan. I will see you guys later. Later.